We are excited to be here today. She is going to explode with excitement. So if you're new here, welcome in. JK Weekly, I see. Welcome in. I'm glad you're here. If it's the first time here, thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button, all those things. BDF, Keith did here. Thank you for being here, Keith. Everybody else who pops in, listen. If you know us already, you know. If you're new, you don't know. This is our weekly show. We do a daily show. We didn't go last week, though. We kind of took last week off. So this is really our first show of 2021. Not really. We did this show last week too, but I haven't gone live in 2021 except for with her, and she's going to explode in all the Star Wars talk. So this is a show that came out of her passion for the Mandalorian, right?
Yes.
Her love of the Clone Wars and all of that
and
stuff.
And Rebels and the Star Wars movies.
Yeah. And so when we get to the end of the Mandalorian, we're not sad, we're excited, but boy, will we have enough news? We have enough news, don't we?
Yeah.
So the other night we saw some rumors, and so this is how our family works, right? We're downstairs, we're watching TV or playing on our device, whatever we're doing. We're all downstairs doing our thing. I don't even know what we're doing. And something comes up on my phone about Robert Downey Jr. in the Star Wars universe,
otherwise known as Tony Stark and Iron Man.
That's right.
One of my favorite heroes when I was younger.
Yes. Nico the Greco in the house. What's going on, buddy? So we're going to talk about that anyway. And what do I say right then and there? What do I say? I bet he plays
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
To which this one, and more importantly, but more excitedly, Peyton, no, never, no, blah, 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 blah. And then all the articles started coming out. Yes?
Yes.
Tell us what you thought, and then I'm going to read this article. We'll talk about it. Let me know in chat what you think. We're going to talk about it right now.
To be honest, I don't think they're going to have him play Thrawn because I don't want him to, because I don't want because I don't want one of my favorite hero characters to play a villain. But you
love Tony Stark / Iron Man as a good guy.
Yeah, I like.
And you hate Admiral Thrawn because he's a bad guy.
Yeah, he's the worst villain in all of Star Wars history.
That was the whole.
The Emperor. He's a really bad one.
That was the whole conversation that night at our house. He can't be him. Why can't he? Because I love him and I hate him. What do you mean? Right? That was kind of the conversation for like an hour and a half. Brianna in the house. What's going on? Michael in the house from Michael and Bella's Travel Channel. What's going on? Also, thanks for being a member. Thanks for being here, buddy.
And also, I think maybe he can't be Thrawn because he doesn't have the voice for Thrawn.
Robert Downey Jr. My side there. So this one and Peyton, who is a huge Marvel fan. You're a big Marvel fan, but she's a huge Marvel fan.
I recently got hooked.
Hey, Sherry. Yeah. Well, I did too, I guess. But
something went wrong. Please try again. Sorry, something's gone wrong. Please try again.
That's annoying. So my phone wants to talk to me. So what is that on there? But I love Robert Downey Jr. I knew him before you were born as an actor, and then he got in trouble. You don't even know all that because you're younger, but he's a spectacular actor, and great actors can play any part, right? Well, so I'm excited about it. You guys are both no. Kind of throwing it away. Then we wake up the next morning and it's everywhere, including comicbook.com. Which is where I'm going to read from right now. Hey, Sherry, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. A lot of travel news, a lot of cruise news. I mean, even read an article about Biden going to slow down the industry and all that. I was thinking about you yesterday. I'll probably get Disney Plus after my 2-year price lock agreement expires. Cool. You should definitely get it. Yeah. I can't imagine not having it. Star Wars fans weigh in. Why does it keep doing that? Star Wars fans weigh in on speculation about Robert Downey Jr. playing Thrawn in season 2 of The Mandalorian. Ahsoka Tano made reference to Grand Admiral Thrawn. I remember her freaking out about that. You were pretty excited about it when they mentioned that, yeah?
Well, yeah, because Grand Admiral Thrawn is one of the worst of the worst villains in all of Star Wars history. And I strongly believe that he's the one controlling Mandalore.
This is where you get into the lunacy of the Clone Wars fandom. Yes?
Grand Admiral Thrawn is Rebels.
Like I said. So anyway.
Just saying.
Which ignited speculation among Star Wars fans that it would only be a matter of time before the villainous character made his live action debut, resulting in countless theories about which actor could take over the role. Now that his time as Tony Stark in the MCU Marvel Cinematic Universe has come to an end, some fans express their support of Robert Downey Jr. Hey, Mom, in the chat, what's going on? Thanks for being here.
Grandma.
With there even being some unsubstantiated, that means we don't have proof, rumors that the actor may have met with Lucasfilm about getting involved in the franchise in some capacity. He's friends with Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau and him created Iron Man, which created the MCU, right?
Yeah, Iron Man was the very first Marvel movie that started the entire Avengers series.
Exactly. So it's not like Jon Favreau puts Robert Downey Jr. in every movie. It is, however, a huge get and a huge star, and why wouldn't you? And if you're a Robert Downey Jr. and you still want to act, it's not like he's retired. He's even not said that he wouldn't come back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe
As someone else.
And I think that means, to me, he comes back as a different superhero in that role reversal show they've got coming up on Disney Plus. That's a whole nother conversation. I don't even want to go down that. Happy anniversary to BDF. Okay, happy anniversary, BDF. That's cool. What did I miss? Happy 12th anniversary. There you go, BDF. Happy anniversary, buddy. So anyway, I think it just makes sense. Like, if you're an actor looking for a job now, why wouldn't you want to be in the Star Wars universe?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to this. Now that his time as Tony Stark of the Marvel Cinematic Universe has come to an end, some fans expressed their support for RDJ taking the role. While some fans think Downey would be the perfect actor to bring Thrawn to life, I do, because he's a great actor. Others thought it would be a big mistake on the part of the filmmakers to cast the actor for the iconic role. They should cast Robert Downey Jr. in Star Wars. He would make a great Grand Admiral Thrawn or a big character, says this guy from Twitter. In my opinion, RDJ will make a fantastic Grand Admiral Thrawn. I totally agree. That's where I'm at. I'm not going to read all these things. These are just a bunch of tweets. I'm not going to read all that. Look, let's just talk about you. So is your reason for Robert Downey Jr. not playing Grand Admiral Thrawn that you love Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr., or do you just don't think he will fit the character? I don't know the character. I think he's blue and he's angry. That's pretty much everything I know.
Well, for starters, Grand Admiral Thrawn is very dangerous.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think the actor, I just don't think he'll be a good fit for Grand Admiral Thrawn, because Grand Admiral Thrawn is pure evil and he's cool and calm. And I know he's an actor, but there's a complete difference with Tony Stark. Just saying. I know he's an actor, but I don't think he'll be able to pull that off.
Adventures by D in-house. Welcome in, Adventures by D. Glad you're here. I think you will.
If you say so.
So my first experience with Robert Downey Jr. that I can remember is him as a bad guy in Weird Science. Weird Science. Great movie, 80s. You're way too young. They created a girl. It's all pretty awesome. Team Marie in the house is going on. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Thank you, Jeff. Good people are still wanting to go to Disney.
When I was little. Weird Science.
Great song.
She played that theme song constantly, so much it got memorized.
We like science. We like Oingo Boingo. And we like Weird Science, the movie where Robert Downey Jr. was a bad guy. Now, not a evil bad guy, just a punk teen. Well, my point is he can play a lot of characters. He's played plenty of characters. Let's see. Hello, Jeff and Reagan. Good morning. Not sure how, but I already bopped the like button. Tina, you know why? I can tell you why, Tina. Because thank you. Hey, Pax, what's going on? Paximus in the house. What's going on? Weird Science, great song. Great. Actually, a much better song than a movie. Great song, funny period movie. She doesn't know what I'm talking about. You like the like button because this was a Good Morning Disney that I just moved forward because we took last week off. We didn't plan on it, but we did. Anyway, so what else? You really want to talk about an episode. She wants this show also to be about a review of the Mandalorian show. So I don't want to ignore that. So anything else you want to say about Grand Admiral Thrawn in the next 15 minutes before we end our show today?
Just that he's very evil.
Yeah.
He's an expert in stimulating fear.
Yeah, well.
And he is not to be tampered with. And if my theory is correct in that it is Grand Admiral Thrawn they're dealing with on Mando, Bo-Katan, and the others are going to have their hands full.
So I do think that brings us back to the Mandalorian and the other movies. So the Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau universe is expanding the Star Wars universe to great lengths, I would say. We've got all kinds of new shows coming. Was a punk, but a good actor. Exactly. Pax. I think that it doesn't even mean... Okay, so if Robert Downey Jr. does join the Star Wars universe, it doesn't mean it's Grand Admiral Thrawn. It might not even be the Mandalorian. There's all these other movies coming right now. Kevin Feige, whatever, the Marvel guy, he's doing a Disney or a Star Wars movie. There's all kinds of stuff that's coming. So the next 5 to 10 years, they're going to be casting for all these new shows on Disney Plus. Who knows what it could be? I'm excited I wouldn't even care what character he was. Matter of fact, he'd probably most likely be a character we've never heard of. Well, maybe not most likely, but potentially.
Yeah, he could end up being one of those not so heroes, not sometimes heroes, sometimes villains characters.
Yes. Now I think Robert Downey Jr. would be in the Star Wars universe. I mean, you never know. Yes, Pax, we're talking about Robert Downey Jr. The rumor is, or the fan theory hope, whatever you want to call it, is Robert Downey Jr. is talking with Mr. Favreau to bring him into the Star Wars universe. I don't know. I haven't done enough research to find out if this is just some fan on YouTube or the internet somewhere saying something and people running with it, or if it's a real thing. But why not, right? Favreau and Robert Downey Jr. are buddies. Okay, so now let's get back to The Mandalorian, because I know you really wanted to. So we watched, the Star Wars movies. We watched on New Year's Eve, which feels like a long time ago, but it was only a week and 2 days ago, whatever. We watched the first, 5 episodes of Clone Wars? I don't know. I wasn't counting.
Yes.
What do you want to share with them about that?
The Clone Wars are crazy good.
Yes. Let us know in the chat. Have you seen the Clone Wars? See, for me, as a Star Wars nut, I haven't watched the Clone Wars, but
I've watched the Clone Wars over a dozen times.
I would say you like the Clone Wars even more than the movies. Is that true? Am I right? Is that close?
To be honest, I do like Clone Wars more than the movies.
I thought you did.
I don't know why, but the shows are like better than the movies.
Tell me honestly, like make me understand. Tell them, but tell me why do you like the Clone Wars even more? Because you love Star Wars movies. Why do you like them more than the movies? What is it about them?
To be honest, I don't know. I just really like the show.
I think I know what it is, but I would be nerdy about it. It's Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni, the creator of all the animated Star Wars movies to this point, at least, is a spectacular storyteller. And his style of story, and also in animation, you can tell the story so more in depth, so more. You can do. Need CGI. It's animation, so that's pretty cool too. But I think it's the Dave Filoni thing, and that's the guy with the hat. You know what I'm talking about? The guy with the hat, the cowboy hat.
Yeah.
I put it out to you a couple times. I love the Clone Wars. My son grew up with the series. Yeah, I needed her. So on New Year's Eve, we all went our different ways, but me and you stayed home, and that was the plan. It was going to be a rainy, icy day, and so we watched them, and we did. We watched about 5. We had a couple changes in our plans, but we watched a few of them. And having you there to explain what the heck was going on was gold. It was great. It's what I needed. This old guy who didn't have a clue what was going on in Clone Wars needed a Clone Wars expert, and I can't wait to do that again.
In fact, he started to watch Clone Wars, but there's a movie that explains the entire show, and he was confused in the time, so I recommended we watched a movie, then we watched a show, and everything was clear.
So if you don't know, many of you may, I don't know, I didn't, so I'm going to share as if people don't. Maybe I'm the only one. I started with the Clone Wars, the first episode, and I actually watched it twice, 2 separate times. And Yoda's running around with the good guy stormtroopers. I don't know what I'm talking about. And they take clones, exactly. And they took out some people, and it was okay, but I didn't quite know what's going on. But then she pointed out that was a year preceding that. There was a whole movie. It was like a 2-hour animated movie, right?
Yes.
And that was exceptional. It had Anakin and Obi-Wan were the main characters, right? And they ran around and did their thing. And
technically, Ahsoka and Anakin are the main characters.
That's true. Ahsoka, I forgot about that. But my point is that's when we got introduced to Ahsoka.
Yes.
But it introduced the entire Clone Wars show, and it made more sense to me. It felt like that was the starting point that I wish I would have started at. Does that make sense?
Yes, and you should always listen to me.
I tried once, but it didn't work out. Dean, the Turkey Lacer, I was thinking about you this morning, buddy. I hope you're doing well. Have ever say hi to Dean. Storytelling is key. Absolutely, Paximus. A story so good you don't know why. Where'd it go? Don't know why you like it over another story. Storytelling is key. Pax, I totally agree with that. The Star Wars universe is great with that, with storytelling. And Dave Filoni is the next generation of George Lucas's brain, in my opinion, and I'm excited about it. Hey, Fulton, what's going on? I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. So you wanted to talk about a couple of the episodes. So I've been doing all the talking this morning. I feel bad. What did you want to talk about in those episodes?
Each episode was really great, and each time they had a storyline. Each story, they did a few things where they kept the storyline going on a few episodes.
Sure.
But they also made unexpected twists and turns in the storyline, and those were all really good.
Tell them why they should watch the movie Clone Wars before they should watch the show.
Well, you should watch the movie because it first introduces Sokka, and it first introduces Anakin, and it explains shortly after the Battle of Geonosis, this happened. Don't want to go into detail because I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but it explains a lot of things that you guys need to watch. You guys need to know before you watch the show.
Yeah, it really did. I don't know, made it more enjoyable, and it was fun. It was a full-on movie. So what's next for this show, for our show? I want you to tell them. I need to know what you want the show to be, but I want you to tell them. We got some people watching right now. Let them know what they're going to see next week and moving on this show. Are we going to be reviewing the Clone Wars episodes? Are we going to talk about Star Wars episodes? Are we going to talk about rumors in the Star Wars universe? A little bit of all of it. What do you want to talk about? And then as she's saying that, please let us know in the chat what you think about this and or what you want Star Warsy on our Saturday morning. We have spoken boring conversation anyway show. Go ahead.
We're going to keep reviewing The Mandalorian until we're finished with season 1.
Okay.
Then the main review on the show will be Clone Wars.
So are we going to start off? Are we going to review season 1, episode 1 next week on this show?
We're going to review season 1, episode 1 of the Clone Wars after we're done reviewing the Mandalorian episodes.
So next week, next Saturday on this show, they can expect to see us talking about what?
Episode 3 of The Mandalorian.
Episode 3, because we already did episode 1 and episode 2. I understand now.
We haven't done episode 2. Yes.
Are we going to do that today?
Yes.
There's my confusion. So we talked about episode 1, season 1, the very first one last week, where we talked about the opening scene of it all, and we end with Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Episode 2 of season 1 of The Mandalorian just made us fall in love with it even more. Look at it. I was going to say some stuff, but you're exploding. Go ahead and say whatever you want to say. Go ahead, baby.
I'm not explaining. I'm happy.
So in season 1, episode 2, we start off, boom, we've got the baby. Yeah. And really, I'm going to talk about the entire. I'm not going to stay with the episode as well as you probably want me to, but if they hadn't already hooked us, boy, did they at the end of the show. By the end of that show, we watched him do his job. He gave it up, that great scene with the crazy Imperial guy, but then he gets into his plane, into his ship. And he sees the little thing and he can't take off, right? He can't take off. Hey, Nick, what's going on, buddy? He can't do it. So he goes back. Yeah, actually, even before that, he says, hey, what are you going to do with him to, the bounty hunter guy with the pucks? I want all the pucks, all that, blah, 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 blah. Hey, what are they going to do with him? Hey, you're not supposed to ask that. You see the stress in him. I'm not sure why. I guess because he was just so dang cute and so dang helpless.
Or maybe because he remembered that was a kid found by Mandalorian, therefore that is a foundling.
Sure. Him being
foundling?
A foundling, but someone who was unparented, right?
Yes.
Certainly had a part of it. But that fight scene, where he sneaks in, he drops off the baby. First of all, that was exciting. But then when he comes back in, we see his powers, frankly, his gun, his ability to what he can do, how he can hear into their facility. It was just, we really learned how freaking awesome as a bounty hunter Mando is, right? And then he goes to town, fights, they take off, and then all the stuff with the great Old West scene, right? Where they're going down the city road, and all the bounty hunters are out there to get him, and the droid and him take off, and the battle, and all the Mandalorians. Like, what's your favorite part of season 1, episode 2? Because for me, that
episode 3 you just reviewed.
Oh no! Well, see, there you go. So, what am I missing on episode 2?
So we see the episode where Mando first gets the kid, and there was a bounty hunter fight shortly after he was walking out with him. And he literally disintegrated a bounty hunter, and all that was left was his clothes and his bounty puck. And I had a feeling, and I'm guessing that a thought crossed Mando's mind as he said, what do they want from you? Or something like that. That's such a high bounty. And anyways, so basically he got hurt in the fight. He was repairing his armor. Baby Yoda kept trying to force heal him, but he didn't know what he was doing, so he just put him back in the cradle or whatever.
2 episodes in, it's still not clear exactly what kind of show The Mandalorian is, but that's not a complaint. The second episode, Chapter 2, The Child, picks up not long after the conclusion of the first, but heads in a different direction. Nothing here deepens the intrigue of the first episode beyond revealing some new details about the Mandalorian's bounty. Instead, it continues the Mandalorian's adventures on Arvala 7, I think that's the moon or whatever. Adventures that produce the 3 rousing and distinctly different action scenes and some more time with the terse but helpful Ugnaught Kuel. How do you say him? We have spoken guy.
His name's Ugnaught.
Ugnaught, okay, there you go. Before sending the Mandalorian and his charge off into the stars and presumably back toward the client so the Mandalorian can complete the job. I guess I did jump ahead, didn't I? Yes, about that. What do we, well, you're in charge. But what?
I didn't know how to tell you that.
About that. No, that's all right. The episode opens with the Mandalorian and the child traveling peacefully through a lizard-filled desert canyon. I forgot about that. I jumped way ahead, didn't I?
Yes.
I jumped way ahead, everybody.
Yes.
When they're set upon by a trio of bounty hunters, they look like, I don't know, whatever that is. We get to see them. Yeah. We get to see the Mandalorian in action and get a glimpse of what a few of his weapons can do. Why settle for a prod, a staff, or a rifle when you have all in one, right? While the Mandalorian recovers, the child apparently attempts to heal him without him understanding. So this is the one where the big dinosaur tries to get him and Baby Yoda lifts him up, yeah?
That is way later in the episode.
But that's that episode, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oops.
You really need to review the episode. You really need to watch the episodes before you review it.
Chapter 2.
You really got to do that, Dad.
Chapter 2, The Child doubles down on the Western references while bringing in other influences, filled with striking images of a man and a child walking in a desolate, enemy-filled landscape, but also has a giant monster in the tradition of Star Wars beasts, inspired by some, I don't know. The tough guy and baby cart imagery also nods to Lone Wolf and Cub. This is really a hard one to read. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Bounty pucks. It's fun to spend so much time with the Jawas, the Star Wars universe cutest felons. The episode nicely demonstrates how such little monsters could be a threat. The child is cute, but also formidable. No CGI of IG-11 this episode. Is he really out of the picture? No sign of. Did we lose him? Yeah, I think we did, right? The really cool droid. Never mind. This episode is short, clocking in at under 30 minutes once you factor in out the credits and the previously whatever. That's whatever. A nice touch carried over from the previous episode. The Ralph McQuarrie art at the end. I'm reading this review because I was trying to get back on board. This episode was awesome, but it wasn't the one I was just talking about.
Yes.
This episode was still them trying to
get off the planets.
This is when the Ugnaught was helping them out.
Yes.
What did you like best about this episode?
Well, there's still a lot more to review.
Tell him.
So, what I think it's really not cool how after he realizes there's no way of getting the parts back, he does the smart thing and goes back to Ugnaught, and he shocked all. This is what all the fuss was about.
House family in the house. What's going on? Yeah, I loved it. So I might have screwed up. I might have been talking about the wrong episode.
Yes, you were.
I dropped a table on my toes right before the show.
Yes, he did.
I did.
He was very cranky.
I was not. I was sad and in pain. But anyway, no excuse. I had the wrong episode I was talking about.
Which clearly messed your brain up.
It did. It did. My toe still hurts. But anyway, but whatever. We're coming to an end of our show. What did you like best about that episode? What do you want them to know about season 1, episode 2?
There's a lot more to review.
If you want to do it, you got to do it now. We're running out of time.
Basically, what I think what happens is he makes a deal with the Jawas to get parts back in exchange for a Mudhorning egg, which results in a Mudhorn fight breaking out.
Yes.
Child uses the Force to save Mando from getting crushed by that thing.
That's the big dinosaur.
It's a Mudhorn, not a dinosaur.
That's what I said. Dinosaur.
So anyways.
Here for a moment in the house, what's going on?
Basically, then he was shocked to see what was going on because he had never seen a Force sensitive before.
I mean, we were all shocked too, right? We didn't know what he could do.
Yeah, we had no idea.
All of a sudden, he's lifting up the big dinosaur.
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah. So what happens next is that he kills it after Baby Yoda drops it, and he passes out for a day or so.
I mean, it's tiring when you lift up a dinosaur.
And he has no way of controlling his abilities yet.
Apparently, I don't have the ability to control a table.
So anyways, basically, Mando keeps the gets the child safely and makes sure the child's safe, gets the egg, and walks back to the Jawas. And the Jawas do a very gross scene where they cut the egg open and just lift up and slurp it in their mouth.
I remember thinking, we don't even get to see Mando's face, but he does a good job of
looking disgusted.
Yes.
Because I was disgusted. I wanted to puke the first time I saw that scene.
It reminded me of those Cadbury eggs that we used to get, that everybody pretended like they were so good, but they weren't. They were kind of gross. And you bite off the top of the chocolate, and then it had this white cream, which everybody was
With
excited.
yolk.
It was gross.
I know. It was disgusting.
Yeah, so Cadbury eggs, I blame you. All right.
Caramel Cadbury eggs, however, are delicious.
Those are pretty good. You're right. Way off topic today. I feel like I need to apologize to you and you. I was talking about season 1, episode 3, wasn't I?
Yes.
So I don't know what we're going to talk about next week, but I suspect it'll be.
We'll do a more detailed version of season 3.
We have spoken. That's a boring conversation anyway. Han Solo used to say it. I never think these are boring. I love these. I love doing this show, mostly because I love how much you love doing this show. But I had a blast this morning. Did you have fun this morning?
Yes.
I did drop a table on my toe. I scraped a table on. It's a whole thing. So if I'm a little out of it, that's why. Sorry about that to you. Sorry about that to you. But guys, thank you for being here. Members, thank you for being here. Dean, Tina, everybody who's been here. I think that a lot of you have been to a lot of our shows, and it's a whole new year. We haven't done a lot of shows in 2021 yet. We kind of took a little soft break last week, but we're excited to get back rolling. And this show is one of my favorite shows to do, again, for the reasons I just said. Are you still excited about this show?
Yes.
Even though I talked about episode 3 when I should have been talking about episode 2.
Yes.
You forgive me?
Yes. Can I review my favorite scene real fast?
Absolutely. I've been trying to tell you that we're running out of time. Say whatever you want in the next 2 minutes.
So my favorite.
Hey, Francisco, what's going on, buddy?
So my favorite scene is when Mando says in Jawa speak, "These parts belong to me," and the Jawa laugh said, "You speak terrible, Jawa. You sound like a Wookiee." Then he got his gauntlet that has fire, and he said, "Do you understand this?" Then the Jawas got all scared because they were nearly burned.
The Jawas are some of my favorites. Do you remember seeing the Jawas at Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World a couple years ago?
I don't think so.
They're not there anymore. I've heard they might come back. I'm hopeful they will. Have you heard the rumors about Galaxy's Edge and the Mandalorian?
Yeah, there's rumors that they're gonna add Mandalorian characters to Galaxy's Edge.
And I love this idea so much.
Yeah, that would be so awesome.
Can you imagine a baby Yoda meet and greet?
Could you imagine a Mando meet and greet or a Bo-Katan meet and greet?
ATJH, you drive safe, my friends. I'm glad you're here. Good morning to you. Drive safely. I think that's it. I think that the big news of the Mandalorian world is Robert Downey Jr. rumors and potentially the Mandalorian characters coming to Batuu in Walt Disney World and in Disneyland. We're going to continue to review each episode because she wants to, and it's fun. Next week, we'll do season 1, episode 3, and we'll talk about any other news and rumors in the Star Wars Mandalorian universe. What do you think? Is that good? Did we do good today?
I think that we did great today.
I think so too, and I'm glad you guys were here.
I think you need to review the episode. You need to watch the episode.
I will watch episode 3 on Friday night next week. I promise.
Good, because I don't want to repeat of today.
Love you all. Thanks for being here. Have the best day ever. Have a great weekend. Be safe. We have spoken.
We have spoken.
Bye for now, everybody. Love you.
Bye. Love
See
you. Have a distastic day.
Absolutely. No ears to poke me in the eye today. See y'all.